Hello, everybody, wherever you are in the world, wherever you're listening in from, watching in from, whether you're cooking or eating breakfast or lunchtime for you right now, I don't really care. But I'm glad that you're with us. So, obviously, the usual thing is we'll wait for some time to let people to trickle in, grab a coffee, grab a glass of water, grab a beer if it's that kind of time for you. For me in the UK, it's like 6 p.m. now. It's a perfect time for a drink of that kind. But I'm on a webinar, and SCM Rush I don't think would allow me to drink vodka, so I have water instead. I've got to stay hydrated. So yeah, we'll give it a couple of minutes just for people to get comfy and clock on, and then we shall jump in. Let's see who we've got. So we've got some people coming in already. We've got people from Spain. So hometown for Victor here. We've got Joseph who says hi. We've got Hans from Mongolia. So yeah, we got some global reach here. This is awesome. And this is the one thing about these virtual events that's awesome, right? Like, yeah, we all miss face-to-face stuff, but you get literally people from the four corners of the globe, which is something that you can't get. So we've got someone from Kiev in Ukraine. Hello, Anton. What if that's actual Anton? Like SEMrush Anton, just pretending to be somebody else. I don't know. But, welcome. We've got Chiara as well from Madrid, fellow DoFinder colleague. Great to see you. Tony from Australia. So it's 2:30 in the morning, man. What's going on? Are you working a night shift? Like, what's the deal? Maybe he's doing night feeds or something. I don't know. I can't think of many reasons why someone would want to be up at 2:30. But we're glad you're here. Maybe someone just loves SEMrush that much that they wanted to be here. Love it. Orange County, California. Yeah, loads and loads of cool people. So a few more seconds and then we will jump in. We'll get some introductions and get cracking. So, all right. So here with me today, tonight, this morning. I'm just going to go off GMT, BST. I don't know what the hell the time is here, but it's 6 p.m. What time zone we're in. More people from Spain, which is great. So first of all, I'm going to introduce the person who's at the top for me right here, which is Jill. So Jill is fresh, brand new to the world of SEMrush, but brings a whole wealth of experience, and is a huge fan of quilting as well, which is always good to hear. Lots and lots of experience in that particular space in that side of the world. Director of SEO at Jumpfly, 15 years in the SEO business, and worked with a bunch of companies from startups to Fortune 100s. And SEO, of course, is her passion, which is why Jill is with us on this webinar today. But when Jill's not obsessing over site search, she is, working with quilts and all sorts of stuff and creative stuff. So that's really, really nice to see. So Jill, I'll give you a moment to say hello, and yeah.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here today. Can't wait to talk about site search and SEO.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much. We also have JP, who is with us and has an incredible back garden. It's not even a back garden, man. The guy's just literally just decided, right, this is where we're going to build a house, and it just happens to be in the middle of a forest. But yeah, before we went on air, he showed us some incredible stuff he's working on. But that's not part of the webinar. We're all just in awe about it. But JP, been a big fan of yours for a long time. We've spoken and caught up every now and again, but Red Hat, lots and lots of search experience from enterprise and everything in between. But yes, I'll give yourself a minute to say hello as well.
Hey everyone, I'm really excited to be here. This is again my first SEMrush chat, and I look forward to fielding all of your questions. Thank you for attending.
Awesome. And then last but of course not least, we've got Victor from DoFinder, DoFinder is a brilliant company actually. I'm a big fan and supporter of what they do at the SME and really cost effective site search. But I'm not here to big them up, but I am here to big up Victor, and he's a great guy, very, very talented in the world of site search. So yes, same to yourself, Victor. I'll give you a minute to say hello.
So thank you guys for joining today. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be good. So I'm going to let you take the floor. We're not going to burn any more time. We've got lots of people coming in, loads of comments. It's on fire already, which is brilliant. But Victor, I'll let you take it away with your initial slides, and then we'll from the back of that, we'll jump straight into the meat with loads of questions and get the audience engaged as well. So I'll let you take the floor, my man.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much, guys, for being here. Thank you to SEMrush for having me. Thank you, Luke, JP, Jill. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being here, picking me up. So today I'm going to be introducing a topic which I'm really passionate about. So for the last year or so, I've been working with DoFinder, helping e-commerce businesses improve the results with the help of advanced search. And I have realized that product search is often underrated. Most e-commerce managers I talk to don't fully grasp the ramification that good site search can have on their businesses. So from the obvious, that can be increasing your sales directly by making it easier for your users to find what they're looking for, to providing you with relevant data that will help you make better business decisions, or by impacting your SEO. Basically, that is what we're going to see today, how to take advantage of good site search and improve your results. So I would like to start with a couple of numbers that surprised me when I first heard of them, and that will probably surprise you too. So the first is that a lot of people use site search. According to our data, between 10 and 30% of people use site search. Obviously, depending on your vertical, the number of products that you have, where your search bar is located, how contrasted it is, etc. But a lot of people use that. And not only that, but people who search tend to buy more often. They are between 4 and 8 times more likely to buy something. And they also have a higher ticket. Why is that? Well, because they are already showing a higher level of engagement with your store than people that is simply looking around. Okay. And the next number is the one that comes out if we extrapolate the two previous ones. That is between 30 and 70% of e-commerce revenue comes from people who search, which is a lot of money in a $4.2 trillion market, which I don't even know how many zeros that is. So every person who visits your store and uses your product search matters a lot, because losing them means that you are more likely to be losing a sale, and a bigger one compared to other visitors. And one of the ways that we can improve their experience is by doing ourselves, or at least trying to do what Google is trying to do with us when we search for something, is to try to show relevant results. Maybe Google is not always successful. Maybe we are not always successful, but at least we have to try. Okay. Maybe you have a site search inside your store, the basic site search that comes with your e-commerce platform, and think that that is enough. But according to our data, 15% of searches done with your standard search return 0 results. That is 1 in 7 searches. That is a lot of money that you may be losing because of your 0 results. They can be a big problem. So to illustrate these, here is a spooky ghost. They are a big problem. Many people may say, well, what's wrong with 0 results? If I don't have a product, what am I going to show? Okay, but the thing is that sometimes, I would say most of the times, you do have a product to show. You do have the product that your users are searching for, or at least you have an alternative, but your search is not smart enough to show it. And then it shows 0 results. And when it shows 0 results, it looks something like this. And I don't need to tell you that whoever sees this is probably not coming back to your store, just going to leave, because they're not going to put the effort to search for the term in the way you have indexed it. What is the alternative to this? Well, the alternative is to show relevant results that are related to the term the user is searching for, or at least to have the data needed to know why people are searching for that term or in that particular way. That is what is going to help us do something about it. This is Luke's store, by the way. Shout out to afrojobs.com. Check it out if you can. So what can you do when this happens? Okay, you can do many things. Some that come to my mind. First, you can add that term as a synonym. For example, if people are searching for trainers, sneakers, instead of sports shoes, if that is the term that you have chosen for your catalog, just add them together as a synonym. That way you will reduce your results. You could create a custom result for that term to show only the products that you want for that term, or not show certain products for that particular term, or even index some part of your catalog. For example, barcodes, serial numbers. In some verticals, it makes sense to index those. Okay. The thing is that if you don't have visibility, you will never know that you have a problem, and the one that can be quite big. Okay, so imagine all the actions that you could do with all this information. How your users are searching, where are they clicking, what new products you should include in your store because they're asking for. Imagine all the actions that you will be able to think of with all this information at your fingertips. So this information also impacts your SEO too. First, because it's going to help you understand how your users search. I know we all use SEMrush to search for our keywords, and that works great. But having information directly from your users is going to give you, for example, a set of ultra long tail keywords that don't appear inside a database like SEMrush. SEMrush is going to give you a deeper understanding of your keywords, because it's going to give you how hard is it going to be to rank for a keyword, or is going to give you the volume of the world volume for a keyword, but it's not going to give you these ultra long tail keywords because they have such a low volume that they are not there. And you can't miss this information, even more now that Google is not providing organic search terms, and that is never coming back, I think. So they haven't provided organic information about the search terms, and they I don't think they ever will. So sometimes, depending on your site search tool, that information is going to come in real time as well. And that can be an advantage because it can help you identify search trends and generate content around them. For example, if people are searching for a product that hasn't come out yet, or that hasn't even been announced, you can generate content around that if there is enough buzz. 3 or 4 years ago, happened. I'm going to tell you a story that happened 3 or 4 years ago to a friend of mine. He has a music store here in Spain, and they started to see a lot of searches directly inside the store for Ed Sheeran, just like that. They sell musical instruments. They had no idea. They don't sell CDs or music at all. So they found out that people were searching for Ed Sheeran, and they found out and they learned 2 things. First, that at the time, that particular search returned 0 results. Okay, so people just searched for Ed Sheeran, just found 0 results and left the page. And second, that people were interested in content about Ed Sheeran. So they realized that they were actually searching for Ed Sheeran's guitar. So they created a content in Spanish, which was what guitar does Ed Sheeran use? And they ranked that position 0 for a couple of years, and they sold their entire stock of that particular guitar model for the next 2 years, which is amazing for a music store. Okay, and that is the level of information that you can expect from your site search. There is another benefit to having an optimized product search inside your store, and this is the positive impact it has inside your user experience. As we all know, Google is getting smarter, and it is focusing more and more on metrics that measure your how your visitors behave inside your store. Okay, in an attempt to provide more relevant results. That is what the famous core web vitals are about. And Google looks into more metrics that are a good indicator of a nice user experience. Some metrics that affect your SEO that have to do with your user experience may be the dwell time. That is the amount of time that takes a user to go back to the Google results after they have clicked in your website. And if they go back and forth between the SERP page and website, that's called pogo sticking. And it is important that you try to avoid this behavior by giving your users something to do once they are inside your store. So site search can help there. One metric that you have definitely heard of is your bounce rate. That is the percentage of people that visit your store and that leave, but they haven't interacted with anything. No scroll, no clicks, basically nothing interesting to do there. So they just go back, and you have yourself a bounce there. And speaking from a user experience perspective, all these three are metrics that can improve with a better search experience. The duration of a session usually increases with good search because the users are compelled to interact more with your site, and the bounce rate decreases because people find better experience and less people find nothing to do on your site. So good search sometimes equals better SEO. Well, most of the times equals better SEO directly. Okay. I'm obviously not a technical guy, not an expert in technical SEO, not pretending to be one. I know for a fact that Jill, Luke, and JP are going to be able to give you much better advice than me in terms of, for example, how making your faceted category pages indexable for Google or hidden can make a huge difference for your SEO strategy, or even if you should index your search result pages, the URLs that are generated when a visitor search for something. All I can say for certain is that having that opportunity to be in control of how your site search works with your content strategy, your technical SEO efforts, and your user experience is something that you want to have in order to improve the results of your e-commerce store. Now, coming back to the user experience of your website, how do you offer a great user experience that features what features, what functionalities do you absolutely need, and which ones are, I don't know, just nice to have, at least for now? Okay, so auto completion and real-time results are going to give you and your users two things. First, eye candy. It's way better looking than having to press enter on the keyboard or just dragging your mouse up, just clicking on a button. And second, easier interactions. If you don't need to finish typing a word to be shown what you want, that is a positive interaction. It's going to make you want to search for more stuff. Other functionalities that I think are a must right now: spelling and phonetic corrections. This is something that is going to help you reduce the amount of zero results to a minimum. Same with managing synonyms. Your faceted navigation and your advanced filters, incredibly helpful. You have used them when searching for shoes, for example, for a specific size. And suggestions. Suggestions are definitely going to maybe just give you a spelling correction, but it could be giving you related content or an entire new category of products that could go with something you have searched for. Other things that are a must for me. Obviously, we have talked about zero result management. That is something we have already talked about. I'm not going to bore you any longer. And analytics, data is super important. Not going to bore you any longer. Mobile search. We all know that over 70% of traffic is mobile. So be sure to implement advanced search that works with your mobile site. And search banners, this may be a bit less known, but it is the ability to add either photos or GIFs at the top of your search results to provide your users with a more memorable experience. This is something that can really separate you from your competition. Okay. Now, another thing that is, at least for me, very relevant is the personalization. What I mean by this is to have the ability to manually change the importance of a product when appearing inside your search results. If, for example, one of your products has a higher margin for you and you want to sell those because, I don't know, they are your own brand, or because you have a lot of stock and you want to get rid of it, there are many reasons to choose a product that you want to be shown first over other results. In the case of DoFinder, we call that boosting because it boosts the position of those specific products that you choose, but different tools call it different ways. Things that I think is really, really helpful for you to improve your results and your sales and your revenue. Then visual search is a feature that has jumped in popularity with the use of smartphones and augmented reality. I think is a bit of a niche feature right now. Not many stores are taking full advantage of it. I think they will in the future, but the ability to just snap a picture and be shown relevant content around that, for example, a t-shirt that you want, you snap a picture of a t-shirt that you want and you're shown similar products based on shape, other features, color, etc. And last but not least, this is a functionality that is really taking off. This one I think is not a niche at all, because our clients are using it all the time. It's taking off like a rocket. So right now we have apps that can tell us the species of a plant, or if it has a disease, or apps that can identify shapes or people. So we can implement that that level of visual intelligence. So we can implement that level of how do you say that, of artificial intelligence to our search. Okay. How do we do that, and why do we want to do that? Okay. Well, what we want to do is to personalize the results to every user. Okay. The different way in which we are doing this is by analyzing all the actions a user is taking inside your store. Okay, so you need to have an advanced enough search that you can analyze real time all those actions. One example, for example, if I am searching for skiing boots and I just navigate to a sports apparel store, I just search for skiing boots. I find ones that I like. I just add them to my shopping cart and then leave the store because I'm not in a hurry because it's summer. Okay. And then a couple of days later, I remember that my skiing gloves are really old too, and I want new ones. So I come back to that specific store and I search for gloves. Which gloves should the search engine show me? All the gloves they have, in what order? Boxing gloves first. With the regular search, the gloves that would come out would be the most clicked on alphabetical order, something like that. But with an advanced search, with artificial intelligence, you would be shown skiing gloves every time, because the artificial intelligence recognizes that that is the product that you want, until it knows that you have already bought skiing gloves and skiing boots, for example, and now you're interested into other kinds of sports apparel. So, design tips. How should your search bar look? My advice, I'm not going to take very long in this because I've already gone over time, but my advice here would be to check big stores in your vertical and check what they're looking So the ones that usually work best would be the ones that keep it clean, the ones that keep it visible all the time, big and contrasty. Those are the one that works. Just keep it simple. Don't try to do too much. We've all seen a search bar by now. It's 2021. So just keep it visible, because I've seen everything. Search buttons do not work as well. I have seen search button inside submenus, which is a hellish experience for a user. So just keep it visible, keep it clean, keep it contrasty, and it will work. It's designed to do it. So I'm almost finishing now. What we have seen today is that site search matters, and users who search matter a lot inside your store because they buy more, and that site search impacts your SEO in several ways. First, directly, because it's going to give you a better user experience, and then because it's going to provide you with first-hand data from your users. So I think that is it from my side. I'm going to go back to you guys. What do you think? Hope you liked it.
Wow. Just you know what we need, right? On these SEMrush webinars, right? What you need to do, guys, just for me, right? Because I'm often the best host ever. What you need is like just sound effects, so I can do like all the bombs and the gunshots and all that kind of stuff, because there's just so much information in there that was tangible, takeaway-ish. Everyone's bobbing their head like this, like my neck's sore now from all the kind of yeah.
It was hard.
We kind of there's a lot of stuff, but
yeah, it was hard to just compress it in 20 minutes.
It's difficult, mate. I hear you. But any questions we've got? We need to let me know. Let me know. Got any questions? Burning questions about what Victor's spoken through? Any questions you want to ask any of us four, but mainly these three guys, because I'm just here to kind of, keep people going. But yeah, fire them in. Whether it's SEO, site search, UX, how to get the best performance. Get your questions in. If you don't get them in, can't answer them, and then you just have to answer my questions instead. Nobody wants that. So what I'm going to do is start with a question that actually JP threw down. Which was a really, really good one, which is the difference between and what the nuances are between site search and SEO, right? I think they are two completely different spaces with lots of related sort of crossovers and stuff like that, but there's also, some differentiators as well. So the man himself who asked the question and put it down, I'm going to throw it straight to JP. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one, mate.
Sure thing. So I think there's a really kind of, we all kind of know that there's a technological difference between Google search and site search. But one of the things I really want to focus on is that there's a human behavioral difference between Google search and site search. So if they're on your site, and Victor alluded to this really, really well, if somebody is searching something on your site, they already have in their head the belief that you have what they're looking for. And if they can't find it, they're going to remember that poor experience, because a good experience is what they expect. They just want it to work, and they want to find what they're looking for. So when we start talking about Google SEO versus Google search versus site search, the hypothesis that I'm really kind of working on is that you can be better than Google. Google has to do everything. Your universe is much smaller. Your connection to your users is closer. The data that you collect is more specific. And so you can use this information to essentially be better than Google at your niche. And that's the primary difference.
I love that. Also, for anyone who's listening in the UK, we call it niche because we're weird. But niche is kind of a word that took me a while to understand what you guys were talking about in the States. But yeah. For anyone who's in the UK, would you what JP's niche? All right, Jill, listen, I'd love your kind of your input on this as well, as someone who's buried and very much in the universe of SEO. What's your take on that same question?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think people are perhaps searching far more detailed, I find, when I'm looking at the data between site search and Keyword Planner or SEMrush or whatever tool I'm in. They're not looking for a dress anymore because they're already on your site and there's a category for dresses. They're looking for a black midi dress with, I don't know, sparkles. Probably not with sparkles. But that's one of the biggest differences that I see that JP didn't already mention.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. I think that the whole fact that JP mentioned about Google having the whole universe to kind of contend with, and lots of different types of data and knowledge graph and search intent and all that sort of stuff. And then obviously once you're on your site, it's very much about your experience and your products, your categories, your articles, or whatever it is. Really, really important distinction there. Really, really cool.
If I can jump in, sorry.
Yeah, of course you can, my man. Go for it.
Yeah. So another really, really important thing to consider is that how Google collects its information by sending spiders out. Most site search engines ingest that information through like an XML file. So you have the ability through your site search engine to modify the XML feed that is that's essentially pulling in this information. So for example, you can add particular metadata. You can add categories. You can add taxonomies to your XML. One big thing is that we all know that Google doesn't look at keyword metadata. Site search engines do. So you don't just get to ignore your meta keywords tag. That is absolutely critical. And knowing how your information and your data is structured through that feed that the search engine that you're using ingests is absolutely critical. And this is where kind of marketing people and developers need to have a good level of communication.
Yeah, I love that. More data in search is a good thing, right? The more, whether it's the basics like stock or additional keywords, tags, or just any kind of information you have about that particular product is XML. I hear you. I love that. Victor, I'd love to run the same question to you. So I appreciate you're very much buried in the world of site search, as we saw from your incredible presentation. But where do you think that the differentiators are in terms of, from you and your perspective, site search versus the world of Google search and SEO?
Yeah, I mean, JP and Jill just have said it really well. It is way more specific, and that is why you need to support certain things. For example, natural language processing. If people is going to search for a blue dress with sparkles, they need to be able to search for a blue dress with sparkles, and your search engine needs to be able to identify a blue dress with sparkles and differentiate that from a black dress. It can be shown because both have sparkles, but the blue dress needs to come on top. And that is where the solution that JP just said works, where you can tweak your experience up to the point where everyone is going to have a almost perfect experience searching in your site.
Yeah, well, again, super valid. So I'd love to throw another question out there. One that I guess I see quite frequently in day-to-day work in e-commerce, and it's how do you manage out of stock products in site search? So just to kind of define what I mean by out of stock, so temporarily so that they're not permanently discontinued. It's just a case of there's more stock coming soon, but they're just not here. How would one or an e-commerce site go about handling that, and what's the best course of action? So Jill, I'm going to throw the floor to yourself, and again, love your insight on this.
Okay. The client I've had that I've seen do this the best really took the time to merchandise that page, not just to say, hey, this isn't here, you can't have it, sorry, but to put that site search box big and in person there, but also to bring up the related products. So merchandising is definitely the key there, between coming in on a blank page that's going to bounce them out and actually turning that lemon into lemonade.
That's it. Yeah, I like that. That should maybe just be on everyone's site search when something's not in stock. It's just but yeah, JP, you're nodding away there. Throw down, my man.
Oh yeah. So one of the things that I used to do was the way that I managed kind of out of stock. So for example, I worked at a bike retail, and when they were searching for a bike that was out of stock, it would be, here's some related searches, join our mailing list to see when this is available. And by the way, we're sorry, here's 5% off of a cycling shirt. So it builds our email list, it gains a little bit of trust, and they save a little money if they buy a shirt on top of that, which increases margins. And it's kind of a marketing thing, but it's the customers appreciate it because we recognize that we failed and we're trying to help them.
Yeah, I like that. It's being human, right? Going the extra mile and softening the blow of the fact that what they were looking for, you haven't got. So that's great. And again, Victor, I imagine you see quite a few of these examples, and maybe even onboarding the clients and stuff like that. So your insight here would be great as well.
Yeah. One of the things I like a lot is giving your users more information. So let them know when is that product going to be available again, if you know it. Let them pre-order if that is something that you can do. So those two things on their own are going to improve your buy-in rate, because you're allowing them to actually do something about it. And then, like Jill said, relevant results are related to those, also a big plus. But giving them information is going to make you seem like more transparent, and that is going to make them want to buy from you.
I like that.
So more info.
I think one of the things that's really important as well, just to kind of add on there, is some retailers kind of go the opposite way, which is if something's not in stock temporarily, maybe short to medium term, is they remove the item from site search. They rank it so low that it doesn't appear on the first page of results or falls out of the search altogether. And I think the frustration there is if you're looking for a very specific item, so whether it's, if you're in the world of parts maybe, and you've got a very specific part code or something very specific, if you can't find that item, it's one thing frustrating that it's not in stock, but it's a completely different level of frustration if the item's just disappeared and you saw it there a week ago. So that, it's almost kind of the thing of finding a blend between, everyone's suggestions on this call in terms of where we rank it, been in a situation where you go the extra mile and help customers, giving people more information, but also let them find the item so they can find out that it's actually not in stock, rather than thinking that it's just disappeared. But I think as all things, it's definitely a balancing act, right? But I think talking in the world of ranking as well, right? In terms of SEO and that world, of course, we always contending with a lot of different rules, whether it's, first contextual paint and all these kind of stuff, and backlinks and all the sort of stuff we have to worry about. But what are the kind of ranking rules that are, I guess, a recipe for success when we think about e-commerce and site search? What are the sort of things that you should include in that mix? And I think someone who, JP, I guess you're in the middle of this, and the same to you, Victor, but JP, I'm going to open the floor to you first, is what do you think the things are crucial that you should really have nailed in ranking rules for site search?
Did you throw that one to me or to JP? I apologize.
Sorry, to JP, and then we're going to head to you, Jill. We're on it. That's me not being clear.
Okay. Yeah, I think the first thing that really needs to be considered is human-oriented language as a part of your content strategy. Primarily because users usually spend less than a second to decide whether or not that link is something that they want to click on or not. I'll use the bike example again. When I look at the Google results for like road bikes, it'll say road bikes-brand, road bikes-brand, road bikes-brand. I wrote my titles like lightweight, fast bikes for the open road. And so what you really want to, I would say that the first thing that you really want to do, write for the immediate perception of value that connects with humans. Before you do any of the technical stuff, write like you know about it, write like you care about it, and write like you care about actual humans.
I like that. Jill, I'm going to go straight to you after this one. I feel like you're full of ideas. What you got for me?
I love the writing for actual humans. I'm going to do a 180 because I love technical SEO. And the best tip that I have for e-commerce is to make sure that your navigation is crawlable, whether that's your the primary navigation that's in the header and footer. Most of those are these days, not like the olden days, but also the faceted search that sometimes paired with site search. There's a love-hate relationship with SEOs on indexing your faceted search, but I believe there's a time and a place for it. When you can see from the data that the people are searching for your products in great detail, exposing those details to the search engines as pages that are indexable is going to give them a landing page that's a whole lot closer to the product that they want to buy. So that's my biggest thing. But you have to be careful with it because you can get a whole lot of garbage indexed very quickly.
Yeah, it's a real, it's real balancing act, isn't it? It's kind of finessing it and kind of blending what JP said with understanding what users want and how they search and what's popular with SEO in that for sure. Victor, again, great to get your insight on this in terms of what you feel are the fundamentals in site search rankings to really set up for success.
Well, it is a mix between being capable of making your search understand how your user search and making Google understand how your site is structured. That is everything SEO technical guys do every day. So for that reason, I think I've mentioned it before, but I have seen great success when people index certain URLs that are created when somebody searches for a product, because those are great landing pages as well. Category pages are really good, and result pages, direct results pages. Imagine I am Amazon, and the URL that is created when I search for Nike, that is a great landing page because it's going to show all the products that I have ordered by any preference that I have set up. So that can be a great URL to index if it makes sense. So be very careful with this, because you can index a whole lot of garbage, like Jill said. Don't index every URL, because then you're going to have 7,000 pages in a week. So and at the same time, I would say understand how your users search. Synonyms, set up your synonyms, set up custom results if you have an advanced search solution that allows for that, because that is going to let you have the finesse necessary to provide a very personalized search experience. If that makes sense. I don't know if I...
Does make sense for sure, and it's again all insightful, which is great. So I think jumping into a bit of a hot topic, and it's been a hot topic for a while, but this whole world of personalization, you can kind of use some of the buzzwords if you want, a lot of AI and all this kind of stuff, but where do you feel that personalized site search really comes into its own, and is it better? Is personalized site search better? Is the generic approach better? What are your kind of thoughts on this? And Victor, I'm going to go straight to yourself this time. But yeah, where do you think personalized search sits in the world of site search, and is it better or is it worse? What's your thoughts?
We have seen that it drives more revenue. If that is what you care about, and I think that it's what you should if you're an e-commerce manager. It drives more revenue because it's making it easier for your users to find what they're looking for. AI at the end of the day is a buzzword that means analyzing everything a user is doing and then providing a better result. So if I am clicking, like I said, if I am clicking on ski boots and then I search for gloves, it's going to show me ski gloves instead of boxing gloves, which I don't care about. Now, is people going to search for just gloves, or are they going to say for ski gloves when they're searching inside a store? Probably people is going to search for ski gloves most of the times, but you need to optimize for all case scenarios. Yeah. So that is where AI is going to pick you up in the cases where you didn't know you needed to optimize. It's going to make your user experience better, but with less effort from your side. Could you arrive to the same level of personalization? Probably with other type of tools like custom results and synonyms and all those sorts of things. Maybe you could arrive to somewhere close. But yeah, I think AI is going to be the future of site search, and second is going to make it so much easier for e-commerce managers to provide personalized results, and not only that, but a better user experience and more revenue for their stores.
I love that. Yeah, I think that again, really, really sound advice. But Jill, what's your kind of thoughts and take on the world of personalized search? I mean, do you think it's better in the world of site search? Do you think it's yeah? I'm not even going to ask you any more preemptive questions on that. I'm just going to let you take the stage and say what you got to say.
Excellent. I don't know what I could possibly say that Victor didn't already say. You know, when we talk about customer experience and being important to SEO, and it absolutely is. As a human, I would much rather be on a site with personalized search. That's just one person's opinion, but I have to think that it's a fairly universal opinion. And so, as something that improves customer experience, then yeah, it's absolutely a bonus for SEO.
Cool. Yeah. Again, brilliant feedback. So, JP, same thing to you. I'm guessing you've seen all sorts of implementations of personalization in all sorts of scales. So, love your thoughts and insights on this too.
So I'm going to run with the example of ski boots and then ski gloves. So one of the ways that I've actually tested this kind of machine learning in my search results is if somebody's looked for ski boots and then searches for gloves, I don't bias completely towards ski gloves, but I make position 4 through 6 ski glove related. And then I test my user reactions on this. If they go directly to the ski gloves, then I have more information to say that 85% of the people who search for ski boots also look for ski gloves, and that informs my machine learning. The other thing that I do when it comes to personalization is geolocation. So people, so if people in one location prefer black dresses with sparkles, and people in another location prefer green dresses with sparkles, if there's a consistency between those kind of search behaviors, I use their IP location to bias results based on what I know about the locations of the users. So if a person in one area is looking for sparkle dresses, and I know that they live in an area where they prefer black sparkle dresses, that's what I bias. So I try to use machine learning to support an existing behavior. The last bit in terms of personalization and machine learning is I've run some experimentation on intent-based machine learning and personalization. And this is kind of a hybrid model. I don't just let the machine take over. So I try to figure out if the user intent was troubleshooting. So I checked troubleshooting intent keywords. I ran a machine language model. I used a model called Learn to Rank, or LTR. So using LTR, it generated a bunch of results back to me that says, this might be troubleshooting related, this might not be. And so as a human, I went through and I curated it, reloaded up that list, and I got a better model of how to predict a troubleshooting model. And I'm talking really fast because I have a lot to say and I'm super excited, but I'll stop now.
Cool. But no, again, just loads of really cool information there in terms of how things can be influenced. So I'm going to jump to a couple of audience questions now. There's one burning here from Mendo Digital. I didn't get a name, but I see what you did there, trying to get a company plug in that. I appreciate that. But yeah, Mendo said, how do you optimize category pages for Google and yet satisfy visitors' need to see products up front, e.g. more text versus just products and images? So I think it's trying to understand the balancing act between keeping search engines happy and then, of course, providing the best sort of site search experience as well. So this is a perfect kind of SEO question, really. Jill, I'm going to throw this down to you first of all. Get some more questions in, people.
Okay, so I worked with a brand who wanted to have zero text on their pages because they were very brand heavy. They wanted lots of beautiful large pictures, and text was the devil. So I learned very quickly that, or I convinced them that just give me 5 words, 5 words. And if you can get the right 5 words onto a page up at the top, maybe by the heading, implementations I've seen are like an image or the heading and an image with some text, just a phrase floated over top of it. That's going to anchor the keyword theme there. And then perhaps having a little text at the bottom as well. I'm not a fan of an encyclopedia's worth of text at the bottom, but I think that a couple sentences can really go a long way.
Really, really smart stuff again. And I think that sort of helps answer the question. So I'm going to try and quickfire these because we've got about 10 minutes left and there's questions rolling in from everybody now. So what I'm going to do is throw down another question. I appreciate I've skipped some people over, but there's a really good one coming in here, which is from John. Thanks for dropping this in, John. But what ranks best, keywords or synonyms? Now, it's a bit of a tricky question. I imagine ranks, I'm going to maybe switch that word out for performs better. And that could be a number of metrics, whether I guess it's sales or search satisfaction. But JP, what's your kind of thoughts on this? Where would you start? How do you best optimize site search? Where do you start?
Okay, that's a really good question with not a really simple answer. It's not binary. So I would definitely say that if I would give an answer of either or, keywords rank better. Synonyms provide context. So if I'm looking for an animal with 4 legs that barks, those are attributes of an entity called a dog. So that's kind of how I see that. If I search for that, that's kind of how I picture this question. But yeah, so I think if anyone else has any cleverer ideas than me, then please talk.
It's a tricky one. Victor, throw
Yeah,
down.
absolutely not clever at all. But I have a theory is that absolute synonyms don't really exist as a whole. Like synonyms, words that mean the same thing exist for a reason, and that is, as JP said, context. Maybe when I say sports shoes and I say trainers and I say kicks, it could be because I am from a different part of a country, or it could be because I mean a similar thing but not the same thing. So when I say kicks and I say sports shoes, are those the same? They are very similar, and maybe I should show the same results, but I am giving you an intent. Kicks are like trendy. Sports shoes can be like comfy for running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So synonyms usually carry context. So what ranks better? Keywords. But synonyms are incredibly important for natural language processing.
Yeah, I think that's a really smart way to summarize a question. I think you almost need to use your keywords as well to identify what synonyms you need to plug in, right? So to your point, Victor, if you've got a lot of people searching for sneakers, I'm in the UK, so of course we call them trainers or crepes, depending on where you are. But yeah, if you've got a lot of searches for sneakers, but you're a UK company, but maybe something's blown up for you on Instagram and you've got an American audience, use your keywords to identify what synonyms to build in. But yeah, I think that's a really, really great answer. Right, I'm going to fly through these questions. I appreciate I'd love to get lots of insight from everyone, but there's also a lot of questions coming through. Well, it always works this way. Like we ask you to take questions and then everyone's live on it in the last 5 minutes. Like get them in early. All right, cool. So Faye has asked a brilliant question. And if it's the Faye I know, hi Faye, we met at Brighton and Cambridge and stuff like that. Cool. Person in the world of SEO. So really good question. How would you handle customer service queries using site search? That is 95% of the time used for product search. Faye finds that customers are searching for answers about their deliveries and stuff like that. So I guess it's more searches that are contextual or information-based rather than product-based. How do you best handle that? And I'm going to throw down to Jill. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, this is another one where I don't have any professional experience on that, but as a human, I know that I do often put customer support information into a search box, and I get really cheesed off when I don't get the answer. So I'm gonna give it a thumbs up, but I'm gonna guess that either JP or Victor can answer it better from a professional standpoint.
I'll let you gents take it. Fight it out. Ding ding. Round one. Who's answering the question?
Go for it, man.
Oh, thank you, JV. I can tell you what we have done because we are a product page. We are not an e-commerce, but most of the people like to search for support things inside our search engine. And what we did is just to build a custom search result for when people are searching for support questions. So you need to understand how people are searching for support question. Are those questions always the same? Because if they are always the same, written very similarly, you can redirect the people that are searching that to a landing page and avoid the hassle of searching for where to click. Or you could just listen. I'm going to show you what we do directly because it's going to be easier. What we did is simply to build one category inside of search. When I search for support, it just comes out here down. So when somebody is searching for our API, support pages are going to come up. So everyone is happy because you have, if you're searching inside the website or inside the blog or inside the support pages, if that is something that happens a lot, everyone is happy.
Like that proactive approach. And yeah, in the world of retail, of course, returns, customer services number, delivery information is a particular FAQ. You want to be able to redirect people to these sorts of content. There's someone here who, I don't even know how to get started on this first word, XUMP. I'm sure there's a proper way to pronounce that. But a science, no, apologies, wrong question. There was a question here. I've got so many questions coming, I can't see it. But there was someone in the audience who asked about XML. And JP, you kind of fleshed it out a little bit in terms of XML data and how that works. Can you just expand on that a little bit to make it a little bit clearer? See if I can find it. Here we go, by Anne-Marie. Just to read the question for you properly. So adding keywords, meta information to XML, where can they go to get more information?
Okay, so first of all, thanks for asking and pointing out kind of like I need to clarify this because this is pretty important. So there are two different things that we're talking about. One is the XML feed that creates the index into a site search engine. The second thing is the XML sitemap that Google reads to find pages. Adding any kind of keyword or metadata information to the XML sitemap that Google reads could be considered as spam and could be very, very, very bad. However, building the XML sitemap that goes to your site search engine, including titles, content, metadata, any other taxonomies that you add to it, is a very good thing. So that's where I want to kind of talk about the separation there. And I don't want anyone to go away thinking that I said put keywords in your XML sitemap because I don't want to be responsible for that level of failure.
I hear you. Yeah, really, really, really good point. A real cool thing to distinguish there. I think some of the things I've really seen work well in site search specific XML data, whether it's XML or CSV or an API and how you integrate with your site search, but stock information, how many unique purchases you've had in a certain time period, whether that's 7 days, 24 hours, 30 days, 12 months, maybe additional kind of information that you haven't got. So maybe flags from customer services to help them define what it's good for, delivery models, all that kind of stuff. And it might be information that it's not used on the front end by customers, but that same search engine tool could be used by customer service tools. And customer service, it's really, really powerful. But equally, what you don't want to do is throw absolutely everything in there to the point where it bloats and slows down your search product. But look, we've crammed so much information into the world of e-commerce and site search. I think we're at time, we're an hour to the point, but so many really, really, really good questions, lots of audience engagement, which is great. 3 incredible people on the panel. Jill, thank you very much for your insight in the world of SEO, and I'm still adoring your bridal suite backdrop. I think it's incredible. JP, thanks a lot for joining us, of course, from Red Hat and all the knowledge there, and great to see you again. And Victor, exactly the same, great to see you again. Brilliant presentation from the world of DoFinder and all those insights as well. So I can't believe these things are free. Like I'm telling you, Semrush, you need to start charging for this. Like, it's just too good. It's too good. But thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.